We're back for some more F1 Manager, and today we're here for the Monaco Grand Prix. I'm very excited about this one because potentially it could be our strongest race of the season. You know, the strength of the Aston Martin is low speed, so this track should be one of our stronger ones. And I say that coming off the last two races, which if you haven't seen, guys, especially the last one, go check it out. Link in the top right for the Spanish Grand Prix. I'm going to jump into spoilers, so I do urge you to go watch the last episode because it was historic. But we're arriving at this race at Monaco, which could be our best circuit, and we scored our first points in the last race with Sebastian Vettel. He finished in a phenomenal P6, which was unreal for us. A really good result and our first point of the season. Now, I saw you guys in the comments and you were saying that Seb has a bonus, or let's say a clause in his contract, and as you can see here, that is true. So if Seb finishes in P10 or above, aka in the points, we have to pay out 1.4 million, which would explain, of course, the money that we lost after getting our bonuses at the end of the event. So shout out to you guys for pointing that out for me, and I much appreciate it. Also, I started the episode on this screen to tactically not give away the updated, standings and how we're looking heading into Monaco. So yeah, guys, things are looking great, man. I'm really happy after Spain. Now, that was a right result. You can see 7th in the constructors, and in the drivers, Seb now P11 with 8 points to his name, and Lance still P18. But even Lance, to be fair, got very close to his first Q2, which is an improvement. However, I did say the pressure's building on Lance Stroll because he had 2 incidents in the race alone, which basically ruined this entire race. And of course, he made a mistake as well in Miami, and the pressure's building. We need Lance to deliver. I'm already lining up possible replacements. Hulkenberg might get a shot in the second half of the season, and for next season I'm scouting Mick Schumacher, so we'll see what will happen, and we may even form the dream team of Seb and Mick. But with that said, let's jump into the updates. Now, this race weekend is actually a back-to-back race weekend, so there's not been time for us to get updates on the car. However, we did have the side pods and the chassis finish their design. We've got them manufacturing, and they're going to arrive next week, as you can see here on the 1st, and that's going to be on the car before the next race in Baku. So the car is going to have a massive update for the next round in Baku. For this one, we're stuck with the same package as the last race. Now though, let's jump into performance targets for this weekend. Now, we've set up the guarantees for this weekend's event. I'm putting a lot of stock, a lot of faith in this being a track that really suits our car. But for qualifying, we've gone for qualifying position P12. I've gone quite aggressive with that. I reckon P12 with Seb could be possible. As for qualifying objective, reach Q2 with 1 car, so that's mainly lined up with 1 driver particularly. Race targets, I've gone for no guarantees because I don't think the fastest lap is suitable for us this weekend. Hot streaks though, you can see we've got a 1 out of 4 on the race streak for getting P15, and qualifying, we've added that as a guarantee, so we're going to see if we can make it happen. You can see here, the hot streak target is 2 races and to get P15 or above, so let's see if we can make it happen. We've already technically done it in the last 2 rounds, so there's no reason why it can't continue. So with that said, let's get into it. We're ready to go. Let's get into the weekend.
Cars have been racing through Monaco's streets since 1929, and this weekend is no exception, as we get to watch the new generation of world-class drivers take over Monte Carlo. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. Monaco is famous for its many narrow twists and corners. From the brake-heavy Le Rascasse to the treacherous Saint Devote, there are no proper straights to speak of, and it's extremely hard to overtake here. It sounds like simple advice, but getting up as high on that starting grid as possible is the best plan of attack. We might still be early in the season, but that doesn't mean we can sit back and relax. Everything is up for grabs, and nothing is certain at this stage. Let's get this underway.
Now, the bonus of having no upgrades on the car this weekend is that the car part knowledge is very high off the bat with both drivers. So we're going to work on track acclimatization and of course working on the setup. Let's get the weekend underway. Monaco, I'm very excited about this. So Lance out, Seb will follow on both the hard tyre. We're just going to go for a nice long 25 lap run. We're going to get that track acclimatization, that knowledge, and that setup dialed in. Very important here that we get the setup on optimal as much as possible. We're going to really try and work on that because qualifying, as you know, is everything around Monaco. So important that we really try and hit the sweet spots with both drivers.
How does it feel, Lance?
The car's just all over the place.
Copy that.
So first bit of feedback, and it's not looking great from Lance. What about Seb? Let's see if we get feedback from him. Usually it's been easy with Seb to get it right.
Sebastian, any thoughts on set of options?
Copy.
Oh, noted. Let's waste no time. Right, let's see then. First signs, optimal oversteer, which is good, but everything else absolutely sucks. So let's get to work. Actually, let me see what Seb's got to say first before we do Lance's car. Let me see what Seb's is like. Okay, so definitely work to do on Seb as well. Not ideal. Right, some pretty wholesale changes on Lance's car. We've kept the optimal the same. We've moved the braking to the other extreme. Cornering and traction as well. Everything basically moved to one side. It might actually be the complete opposite side, which I don't know. This is the part of when it's bad, you don't really know where to go with it. So let's see if we get a few of these values right and we guess correctly. Okay, let's see how this goes with Seb then. So we've kept the good more or less the same on the oversteer. I might just go one more, or two more actually. Traction is similar-ish, straights, one side, extreme. Cornering I've gone completely out of whack, but I want to see how this works. Braking stability as well, quite a way out. Let's see if these changes make any improvement. Both cars are going to go back out on the hard tyre, and we're going to drop the fuel to about 22 laps, and that should be fine. Okay, feedback should be coming in shortly. Let's see if we have any improvements. I'm a bit more confident with Lance's setup than Seb's, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully the news is good though.
What's your thoughts, Sebastian, on coming in or doing any more?
It doesn't react.
Copy that.
As expected, I wasn't too confident with Seb's car, so yeah, not really ideal.
Balance check, Lance.
I'm not happy with the car.
Are
Well
you
then.
firm?
We'll bring them both in because neither are happy, so yeah, looks like we have work to do. In potentially our strongest weekend, we're struggling to find the balance with the car. So everything is still bad with Lance. The braking stability has now gone to great. Optimal oversteer, we've got to try and work on these three values. As for Seb, let's see what he's saying. Okay, so oversteer is great, everything else is bad. The traction's gone from good to bad as well. I'm happy with this actually. We've got the oversteer still optimal. Braking stability, which was on great, which is here. We've moved it a bit to the side. Stroll's happy with the green, but we're on great, so I may as well try and see if I can improve that a little bit and tweak it. Then we've got the complete opposite on cornering, traction and straights. We're going to the complete other side, so this should be a bit better for us. Only thing is none of you are going to have time to get the run plan done. We'll process ourselves some, but I don't think we're going out. We'll just dial in the setup for now and get that changed for FP2. And same with Seb, so the great is more or less the same as what it was. The bad is way out of whack now, you can see out here. Cornering is in the middle of the bar, traction as well, opposite side, and straights. We'll see if these adjustments make any progress. Soft tyres, and we'll also go for the updates. So we're not going to get back out for any more running, so we'll move into the results and then into FP2. And there we have it, so FP1 comes to a close. Verstappen fastest, 13.5 on a medium tyre. Other than that, no real surprises. Seb P14 on the hard, Lance P18 on the hard, 3/10 gap between the two. Encouraging when you consider other cars are on softs and mediums around us, which is good to see. But yeah, definitely a lot of work to do, and if we extract the performance, it could be a good weekend for us, I think, because the pace is good already on a pretty bad setup.
What's your thoughts on coming in or doing any more?
Car was good.
Copy.
Finally, we're getting somewhere then with Sebastian Vettel. Let's see if we get an update from Lance. We've got them both in full push, just trying to knacker the tyres a little bit as we're going to go into a new set afterwards, so we may as well use them up. Overheating is a big issue here, by the way. We're going to have to manage that in the race. I saw that with Mr. Tim and Marduk. Overheating, we're going to have to manage it in the race. Hard tyre could be the way to go. this weekend.
How does it feel?
Yeah, it's not bad. I think it's okay.
So we've gone from not so bad to looking okay now. So optimal has stayed the same, great has stayed the same. We've now got good, bad, good on these, so we're getting somewhere. 74%, not too shabby. So let's see how that works for Lance. Optimal still the same, great, very small adjustment, good, slightly bigger adjustment, bad, the biggest of them all into the kind of safe zone, and straights also having a pretty hefty adjustment. As for Seb, we've gone from great and then everything else being bad to now the straights being optimal. Traction good, just the cornering you've got to try and work on, and everything. If we work on that, everything else should hopefully improve. Let's see how this works with Seb. So we've kept optimal on the straights the same, and then everything else has had about the same adjustment on the good values, and the bad has had the biggest one, so from one side to the other within the bracket. Let's see if this is a trick. We'll go for soft tires as well, and we'll go for 22 laps, and the exact same run plan for both drivers for this final part of FP2. I like how the AI always run in just big blocks. They can't just seem to find clean air. They have to run out of sync. Anyway, feedback should be coming in soon. I've got the drivers on a bit of push on fuel and also tyres.
Sebastian, any thoughts on setup options?
Well done. Car was great.
Copy.
Lovely. So we've managed to turn around with Seb. Let's see if Lance gives us an update.
How's the balance?
Car feels pretty good to me, so Lance is happy. Right, lovely stuff. So, I think I'm happy with this. Seb's stuck in traffic. I don't think he's going to have a lot of luck with all of that. We'll call them in and see what we have to change as we'll sort of pin off here with Seb. Let's go for a few more push laps before we call them in. Let's use up the tyres, may as well, before we burn another set. Let's see if they can improve their pace. Seb still hasn't really set a proper lap in clean air, whereas Lance has moved up to P9.
Yeah.
So Lance with max fuel push and aggressive on tyres has gone P9. Seb is still P16, but let's see if there's more pace to find with both drivers before we call them in. Well, both drivers are back in the garage. Optimal track conditions, but Seb has gone P4 with his maximum push. Stroll P7, so we're looking pretty good. However, there's still half a second between the two of them, and that's a bit of a concern, but still, both cars in the top 10. That's encouraging. We now have optimal on oversteer and braking stability, good traction cornering, and bad on the straights. Overall, Lance's confidence has actually gone down with those adjustments, so we've got work to do. This should do the trick for Lance. Optimal is the same. We've got the straights, which are bad. I've moved them back to his preferred value. If I move the slider, you'll see the green one. I've basically gone for that with the setup. So I've got the traction as close as I can to the green without also upsetting the cornering and the braking stability. So we'll see how this works. I'm expecting optimal on all of them except for traction, which might be a bit of an issue. Look at this. Optimal everything, Seb, except for cornering. We'll try and make a tweak to try and get that in the center. But this is looking great with Sebastian Vettel, 97%. Right, we'll try this. I've just changed the camber by one click to bring it into the center. It's going to affect the oversteer a little bit, but hopefully it doesn't dislodge the optimal and keeps it the same. Everything else looks awesome. And there we go, FP2, both cars in the top 10 for the first time this season. That looks very encouraging indeed. Everyone in the top 11 on soft tyres, and we're looking pretty decent to be fair, pace-wise. Obviously there was a lot of push and fuel involved, but still, no, it's good to kind of give the drivers a bit of that taste for higher positions. It gives them a bit of motivation, hopefully keeps their morale high and progress is made, and not always running the same modes in practice. You know, it's going to make it a bit more fun, hopefully. But yeah, things are looking good. Let's go FP3.
Welcome back to what is proving to be an exciting weekend of Formula One racing, with practice coming to a close today and qualifying set to follow. Whoever said every second counts clearly hadn't revelled in the sport of Formula One, where grid positions can be decided by thousandths of a second. The drivers competing today are amongst the finest in the world, but the margins are even finer. And as you can probably guess, there is no margin for error. So get yourselves comfortable, it's going to be quite the ride.
Car in the wall, is that going to affect us? I don't think so. We're going to be okay.
Like there's been a crash. Here's the replay.
Is this
Now
going to
look
be
at
the
this.
AI's
It was the
crashing
Alpha
corner of the
Tauri
race
driver.
weekend? Oh, yes.
Oh, a nasty crash there.
big stack there for Sonoda. Luckily, traffic has been cleared and we're back underway. Got both drivers running line astern, doing their thing. Got them on light mode at the minute, just coasting on the tyres, and then we'll have them push a bit harder towards the end once the fuel load burns off. Another crash. Oh my god, it's right there. It's the Mercedes. Didn't get the replay, but we saw the stack.
Single yellow.
Let's see what happened there. Now let's look at this. Here's George Russell.
Out the tunnel into the Nouvelle chicane. Just locks up, tries to correct it.
They won't have been expecting that.
Another crash. Virtual safety car deployed. We will have to catch a replay.
Virtual safety car, virtual safety car.
Yeah.
We'll ignore. It's Mick Schumacher at the Nouvelle chicane.
There's been contact and several cars involved. Let's take a closer look. We're just watching the Red Bull.
So Verstappen there behind Schumacher. Oh my god. Massive crash.
Goodness me, that is a serious collision.
That could be a penalty. You never know for Verstappen for the race. And that's not what you want on Monaco. There's Mick stranded on the curb. I just realised the fuel reset. I did 22 laps in FP2, but because it's the start of FP3, the fuel's gone back to 15, so I forgot. That's why they didn't stay out long enough, which is a bit annoying. So we'll send them back out on the same tyres.
What do you think?
Yeah. It's not bad. I think it's okay.
So Stroll's going to need a bit more work.
Copy that.
Let's see what Seb has to say about his setup.
What's your thoughts, Sebastian, on coming in or doing any more?
Car was great.
Copy.
Setup confidence great for Seb, so he's very happy. Obviously, we know that. Let's see if the changes have made a difference. Let's bring them both in. Before we do, actually no, I'm going to bring them in because we're tight for time, so I want to make sure we get the run plan done. Okay, so we've lost the optimals with Lance, but the straights are now good. It's an improvement, but it's still not there. I've got to try and get this set up fine-tuned if I can. We're already on the best values for everything, so it's a bit of an unknown at this point what we go for. Now this is a bit of a risky one to do. I'm going for some pretty big changes in this closing stage. I've completely flipped the straights from right to left. The traction is now inside the safe zone. I'm going against the good. I know it's a bit risky, but I want to try and iron this out. The good on the cornering is also a bit more central, and then we've kept the great the same with a slight tweak on the braking stability. So let's see if this works. I'm solely focused on Lance now to try and give him a car that he's happy with. So we'll go for a fresh set of tyres and we'll go for 22 laps and send him out for another run. Same with Seb, we've lost a little bit. It was optimal and it hasn't gone well, so we're going to go back on what we had.
How does it feel, Lance?
Yeah, good job with the car.
Yeah, copy.
Right result, we've got Stroll there on the great instead of good, which is a massive improvement. Hopefully we can also just go back to what we had with Seb really and really fine tune that setup.
What's your thoughts on coming in or doing any more?
Well done. Car was great.
Copy.
Okay, lovely stuff, happy with that. We can bring them in. And there we go. We've gone from great, great, good, good, good to great, 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 good, optimal. So not too shabby. I will make another adjustment to try and get the traction in that sweet spot before qualifying. Okay, we'll go with this for qualifying. So traction is now in the safe zone. You can see here it's within the brackets. That should do the trick. Those with great have a very small adjustment. Braking stability is a bit more than I'd like, but it's actually the green value is slightly out of the bracket. The white now is actually in, and straights are the same. So we'll run with those changes. As for Seb, everything's the same. So everything's great, optimal on the straights. And there we go. I've just literally changed the camber by one click. I've moved it up a little bit, and it just brings everything a bit closer to the green values, which is what he's happier with. But they're also all a bit more central than what they were. So we'll go with this, and hopefully it does the job. And there we go, FP3 finished. Carlos Sainz, quickest. For some reason, Russell has bugged out here as the fastest driver with no lap time whatsoever. Verstappen does have a grid penalty for the race, so that could be really interesting. But Seb P7, Lance P8, both drivers within a tenth of each other, pretty close and competitive as well, which is good to see. Most cars on the softs around us, but definitely I'd like to find a bit more time, but still, overall, encouraging signs. A good FP3. We didn't quite get the performance bonus, which is a shame all round with both drivers here. We got 14 out of 15, and that's because of the SAP confidence. Of course, I've made the adjustments right at the end, so we're not going to have that. But track, acclimatization, and car part knowledge, 100%. Here we go then, green flag, qualifying underway. Let's get the boys out. First 2 cars out on track, so hopefully not a lot of traffic. That's going to be the key thing here. Okay, let's see. They're going to start their laps. Gaz leaving the pit exit right now. Stroll will clear him, I think. No, he doesn't. Gets in the way completely there. That's not going to help. Gasly still ahead of Seb. This is really poor. So that was a big block. It's not going to be a good first lap. We've got them on luckily a 2-lap run, so maybe their second lap will be better. 15.2 from Lance, 14.4 from Seb. Magnussen slightly slower. Now we'll see what their second laps are. Gaz is going to get in the way again. He's just going to finish his lap now. He's got through our cars with no issues whatsoever, but now he's going to hold up both of our boys in the first sector. Lance personal best. Get out of the way. Go on, get out of the way. No, he's going to hold up Seb through the Nouvelle chicane. Fantastic. Anyway, both drivers seemingly improving. Right, there we go. So Seb P3, Lance P5. Let's bring them in. We're going to go again on that same set of tyres, but this time just for a single flying lap. I think traffic is impeding the overall pace. I don't think the tyres are going to be an issue. So we'll send them back out on the same set of tyres for a second run, and then we'll use a fresh set if necessary at the end. Okay, now this clear track isn't too bad. Stroll is going to hold up Alonso. Hopefully he doesn't let him by, which he doesn't. Hamilton finishes his lap. Let's see. Bit of traffic in the first part of the lap here. This is only a single flyer. Hamilton could come into play. Let's see if Seb clears Alonso. No, he doesn't. He's going to have to stick behind him now through this entire low-speed section, which is the worst-case scenario possible. So this lap's going to be in the bin already due to traffic. Legit, I think you can actually get through if you just get a clear lap in. Rather than, you know, outright pace. Let's see. Stroll finishes his lap. Is it an improvement? Across the line, he does improve, but it stays P14. Seb, personal best final sector, but doesn't really improve, so we'll bring them in and get a fresh set of tyres on. Fresh set of boots, and we're going to go for a single flyer. I may even go out early here. Track grip isn't great, but there's not a lot of traffic on track, which could give us a clear lap, to be fair. So I think I'm going to go now. As you can see, looking at map view, we've got a nice bit of clear track here, so I had them both driving clean air. We can take them off now. And we're going to prepare them for their laps. So we're going to start off on light. And we're going to crank it up as the lap goes on.
Pick up the pace a bit.
Yeah.
So let's get ready. So full push with Lance. Full push with Seb. And let's run on board then with Lance. And let's see
No saving required.
Yeah.
if we can turn it around. We'll leave them in light for the first sector split. And we'll see if we can try and maintain those tyre temps, which are going to be key, by the way. Tyre temps, you can see here, they're already high even in just light mode. Sector 1, it's not a personal best. What about Sebastian? Is he going to set a personal best? No, he doesn't. We'll now put them on standard. We'll crank up the push.
We can push more.
Okay.
Let's see what the second sector is.
Now.
Copy.
Speed this up a little bit. No traffic whatsoever. Right, second sector then. Come on, Lance. Personal best. No, no personal best.
Push a bit more.
Copy.
Full push now for the rest of the lap.
Happy to push.
Copy.
Come on, let's go. Up to the line. And it's a personal best final sector, but it's too much of a time loss. I think we've got this wrong. That yellow flag is not letting me know how much time we have left. I can't even send them out. Disaster. Well, that's it for us now. Let's speed this up a little bit and see where Pierre finishes the lap. He might get held up by his teammate a little bit. At the same time, he might get a tow. Let's find out. Here we go then. Pierre Gasly up to the line. Does he improve and get through? Yes, he does. So there we go. That's Seb out. Disaster. And we guaranteed P12 as well, by the way, so we've completely had a howler, which is a real mess. A real big mess. Verstappen quickest though, but this is not what I had in mind. Disappointing. Really disappointing. I wish I'd let them just drive an auto mode on that last run. I panicked as well because you never get traffic on the last run. The last run is the one that's guaranteed and safe, where you can have no issues with traffic. And I panicked to send them out early for no reason. So really stupid from me. I hold my hand up. That was all on me, that one. Now we're going to split the strategies in this race, and it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to try something very, very different with Lance Stroll for this race. So with Seb, we're going to start on the hard tyre. You guys said to me in the last episode that he should start on the hard tyre and go long, and we saved a set of mediums, of course, from practice as well if necessary, but we're going to basically use the harder compounds because the softs overheat. As for Lance, we're basically going to start the soft tyre and go flat out as aggressive as possible for the first couple of laps, see what happens, and then we're going to pit him super early and essentially begin an undercut basically. This is where the saved medium tyre from practice is going to come into play. So we're going to basically two-stop it. We're going to try and go for a really early undercut, and then that will also mean an early undercut again on the second stop. Essentially, basically, just going to be running out of sync completely. The hope is that in clean air, Lance runs at a decent pace. This could be suicide, but we've got to try something different. I feel like having both drivers on the exact same strat in Monaco is a bit suicidal because you can't really overtake. So let's try and see what happens.
It's a bit of a cloudy day for the race, but the atmosphere as ever is electric. And there's Sebastian Vettel. They're starting in the bottom half of the grid today, so there's a lot of cars between them and the podium. There's Lance Stroll, down the grid. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. The race start is mere seconds away. It's time for one of the most exciting races in the world. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Right, let's see how this goes then. Stroll straight away. We're going to put him into attack mode here.
Yeah.
Any progress we make with Stroll is going to be key.
Use overtake.
Copy.
Let's see, very
Nicely
important. Come on, Lance, let's make some progress here.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place. We can
We
take a
will
look
check this
now.
out.
Now let's have a look. It's Lance Stroll.
Around the outside of turn one. Lovely move there from Lance. Let's keep pushing. We're going to try and get stuck in and basically just burn up this tyre and give it everything we've got and see how we get on. DRS enabled then. That's going to open things up a little bit in this race. Just want to make sure Seb stays within range, within a second of the cars ahead. So no, it isn't the hard tyre, so it would be nice to pass him if I could. So we will have a look at passing him here. Let's try and push after him. Lance not giving up on this chase here after Ricciardo. Oh, we could see some double moves here. There goes Lance. Out of energy, but he's just going to get the move done. And here comes Seb trying to put some pressure on Tsunoda here.
Good job.
Well done, Lance, mate. Lovely move. And Seb.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position. Let's have a look. So this was the Aston Martin.
And there we go. Easy move. Much more straight line speed. Job done. Using up the battery, but getting past.
And they
Happy
clear
days.
it. Big move for them and a race.
Now let's see if Seb can get past Tsunoda here, resuming onto the live action. Stroll has got ahead, is now onto the back of the Alfa Romeos. We will try and go for a move here actually, a few more before we pit. So let's try and save a little bit and then go for another push.
Yep.
Come on Seb, let's go mate. We need to get this moved up before we run out of battery. And there we go. Lovely. Well done Seb. Love that mate. There it is. Easy move. Same as the Stroll overtake on Ricciardo. Progress being made. So we'll have Seb push on fuel a bit. So look at the tyre wear rates. So 94 for Seb. One less than other hard runners. So we'll do a bit of tyre saving. You can see Stroll using up his tyres quite a bit more than Ricciardo. Other drivers, to be fair, like Gasly and Verstappen are pushing on their soft. So This isn't terrible from Lance. Right, Lance is going to pit, so we'll go conserve. We'll keep the attack on the tyres, but we'll go conserve on fuel and ERS. And then we'll go for, hopefully, a massive undercut. That's the plan.
Okay.
And here we go, Lance into the pit lane. First up of the race. Let's hope it goes off smooth without any issues. There we go. Onto the mediums. And back underway. And like I said, we're going to try it and hope he runs at a decent pace. We're going to put him in standard modes. He's going to be onto the back of the Williams soon, which isn't going to help, but hopefully it won't take too long to pass. But yeah, standard modes for Lance, and we'll just see how that goes pace-wise. I will look at the lap times, and I'll compare them in a few laps' time and see what we're looking at, whether we're undercutting or not. Okay, we've got Seb on push mode. I'm going to go overtake, and we're going to try and get Ricardo here. Look at this, straight away, into turn 1, and there it is. It's done. Fantastic from Sebastian Vettel, love that. Right, let's chase after.
Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place. Here's the replay. Let's have a look here. This was the Aston Martin.
Up the inside of turn 1, and we're now going to chase after Joe on the medium and the rest of the crew. But we love that. Love it. Love it. The pace is good. We do have pace. Obviously, qualifying was a bottle from me, but the pace is there, so we're looking good. As for Stroll, he's closing in now on Albon. We'll have him passing him soon. But yeah, for Seb, we're going to push a bit because, again, that's the beauty of the hard medium. Tyre wear isn't really an issue, so we can afford to push a bit like in Spain. You know, it could be a similar situation here, so we're going to try and close in to the cars in front.
Use overtake.
Okay.
Oh, yes, look at this. Go on, Lance, get stuck in, son. Let's go through the barriers and everything. Job done.
This is good.
Love it. Right, lovely stuff. Lance through nice and quickly. Right, Seb closing in. He's just got himself within DRS range of Zhou Guanyu. So we're making good progress here. We're going to try and recharge a bit of the battery if we can.
No DRS.
Oh, safety car. Okay. Pause a minute. Pause a moment. Let's have a think about this. Let's let the race sort itself out first. We can afford to maybe stretch this out 1 or 2 laps with Lance before we pit him. This is interesting for Seb though, because of the hard tyre we're starting on. We'll ignore for now, but this is our second safety car of the season. Of course, we had one in Jeddah. In round 2, it's Carlos Sainz who crashed out.
What happened there? Let's have another look. Sainz is the focus here.
So down to turn 1, Red Bull Ferrari battling away. Sainz locks it up. Oh, that's a big smash.
Went very, very wrong there.
Well, clearly he locked up Crofty. Anyway, Sainz out of the race. That gives us a position as well, which is good news because he was ahead of us. But yeah, safety car now out. We've got to consider our options and see what we're going to do. It looks like nobody's going to pit by the looks of it. So yeah, this could be interesting. For now, we're going to do our thing. It's whether I pit with Lance. You can see the safety car's leaving the garage now, so it's going to take a while to the race to sort itself out. But I think we will gamble and go with the hard tyre to the end for Stroll and see if it pays off. Okay, so with Stroll, we're going to go ahead, prepare the stop. Hopefully the safety car doesn't come in this lap. We're going to go for the hard tyre. There we go. And pit this lap. As you can see, the leaders are going through the pit straight. Seb and Co haven't caught up yet. And Stroll's further back, so this should be fine. So Stroll in, he's going to forfeit, of course, to Albon and Latifi in terms of his position. But this is for the bigger picture in this race. He won't go a lap down. I was going to pit him last lap, but I was worried about him going a lap down. Back underway. Safety car still staying out. No, it's coming in this lap.
Safety car will be in this lap. Safety car will be in this lap.
That's a bit of an issue. The pack haven't even caught up yet. Well, that's not ideal. Let's get Seb ready. We may have ruined it with Lance. I was hoping for a longer safety car. I'm sorry, Lance. That's my bad. Anyway, back underway with Seb now. So we'll pick up where we left off. We're looking to get past Zhou and Schumacher on the slightly older medium. Our tyre we're still looking pretty healthy compared to Magnussen and Norris. An undercut could be an option onto the medium to try and get past those guys. big scrap going on, by the way, as well. So we'll see how that works out. But for Lance, we'll just go standard modes
Push more.
and just see how it goes, really. We might have to hope for another safety car with Lance. Right, now Mick Schumacher has dropped out of DRS range from Lando Norris, which means Joe and Seb can put some pressure on now. So let's do that. Let's put a bit of pressure on and see if we can't maybe get a move or two. We've got the better tyres, so it should suit us. Come on, Seb, let's make some progress. Joe looking for the move, but not quite able to get by just yet. Will there be any action on the main straight? Let's see. Go on, Seb. Come on. Oh, yes. Go on. Please get this. Please get this. Yes. Go on. Let's get Schumacher as well. Could we get past into the Nouvelle chicane, maybe? Not quite. Not really close enough through there. Yeah, come on. Come on. Oh, damn. I was hoping for the move there, but it hasn't still happened. We'll try again. I've moved him down to aggressive to take a bit less out of the tyres. We'll see if that makes a difference. Come on, Seb.
We have low batteries.
Come on.
Copy.
Okay, we'll try again. Been running behind for a few laps. Managed to get a bit of fuel and DRS back on track. Let's see if this is the lap we have a look here at Mick Schumacher. Come on, Seb. We need to make this move now. It's critical for our race. We get this move done, we can look at some points today. We just seem to run out of juice at the end of the straight. The house seems to hold on really well. We'll go deploy. We'll use everything we've got. Rather than overtake in case the drivers use it in a different way, we'll try deploy and see if that helps. And there we go, straight away. Job done, that's what I'm talking about. Right, now that is crucial because now we're P12, we're only 2 seconds off Lando Norris, and Perez, I believe, has stopped, I think. But yeah, we're looking at points possibly here. The undercut into that fresh medium could be very, very key in this race. Cars are in for their stops, by the way. Now this is interesting because if they're going for the hard tyre, we're going to have an advantage on the medium later on. Now my thinking here is racing those guys on the same tyre as us, on the hard tyre. They're going to try and stretch their hards for a soft later on. Track position is key here, so if we can get ahead by using a medium to undercut, that might be the way to go. I think we can go for the move on Norris here. He doesn't have DRS on the car ahead. We've managed to harvest energy, so we're going to go deploy. That seems to work better, it's more effective. And we're going to try and go for this move then. So here we are with the live action. Let's go, Seb. Let's try and get this move. This is important for strategy as Lando's on the same tyre, so this could be very, very key. Here we go, DRS open. And look at that, it's easy. It's easy. Seb's got a lot more juice in the tank. Bottas, Ocon, Schumacher also pit on that lap, by the way, so that's very interesting. That's a very early stop. But Seb making progress. I'm pushing on here with Seb. The reason for that is because I want to get DRS on Magnussen, who is chasing down, or sorry, is being chased down by Perez. And there we go, Seb has got himself within a second. He's also dropped Norris behind. And as you can see, Seb has 9% more wear on his hard tyres compared to Magnussen. Gap is 2.7. Perez has overtaken Magnussen, so we're racing K-Mag here for position. So at this point, the undercut is going to be the key element of this race. Obviously, we want to try and push Seb as hard as we can just before we pit to close the gap. That's going to be the plan. Gap to Magnussen is 2.7. We're a bit far back. We're going to go for a bit of deploy here before we pit, as the pit stop isn't far away now. Not a lot of energy left to use, but we're going to use it and see if we can make it work. Magnussen has pulled away 3.3, so we're going to try and close the gap on this end lap, and we're going to pit. So let's prepare the pit stop for Sebastian. Onto the mediums for this stop. Hopefully get some clear track. I'm looking at Joe here. We should be out ahead of him if all goes well. Should be out easily ahead. Dare I say we might actually even be ahead of Alonso and Tsunoda here. It's going to be close. You can see they're both leaving the final corner now, but I think we're going to be behind them. Or maybe not actually, we might be ahead. That could be a bonus. There they are. Oh, this is going to be close, but we might have just pulled off a masterstroke here. Seb needs to push. It's got to be full push.
You can use energy. Use energy. You can use energy.
Come on.
Copy.
Oh, yes. That is beautiful. Okay, right result.
Lift and coast will help.
Okay, copy.
Now that was race critical. We've got Seb out in P11. 13 seconds behind Gasly, 13 seconds off points, but of course we've still got Magnussen, Norris, I think Bottas maybe, but Magnussen and Norris have to pit.
So we're happy to let these tyres cool a bit.
Copy.
And there we go, Magnussen pits and so does Norris. So this is the crucial phase.
So we're happy to push the tyres hard now, push the tyres.
Let's see, Magnussen leaving his pit box. We're going to easily get Norris and move back into the points. This is it. Where's Magnussen? He's just ahead, I think. There he is. We're going to go overtake. Can we try and get past? Tyres getting warm. We're going to have to rein it in. Hopefully try and stay with Magnussen's DRS. We've held on to Magnussen, and I think we could have a chance of passing him later on this race. It depends on tyre wear. I think there'll be a crossover point where Magnussen wears his tyres out more than ours. We're starting to catch up to those on the hard tyre now in terms of wear. So it's all going to level out. Although Seb has just dropped out of DRS range of K-Mag here, which I don't like. So we'll push him back on. Important that we don't lose DRS on Magnussen, if I can help it. So we're going to have to push on this lap, just to stay ahead of Alonso. Right, so Magnussen is right ahead of us. Verstappen closing in. We're going to go into push, I think, once Verstappen passes us. And we're going to see if I can get Magnussen the same way we got Alonso in Spain. There we go. Seb lets Verstappen through, so now we're going to go full push. So let's wait for it. We'll go deploy. There we go, in the tunnel the swap happens. And Seb doesn't get ahead, which is a shame. Look at that, right behind him. 12 laps to go. So that's okay, we'll just try and manage tyres a little bit. Right, with Lance I feel bad, but this is just the way it's worked out. I really thought the safety car was going to stay out. We'll bring him in. And just go flat out on a set of mediums. As for Seb, we're running a bit low on everything now. Trying to hang on at this stage for that point. Sector 1, yellow flag. Nothing major though, no safety car, no virtual safety car.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
Oh, Magnussen ran wide.
Let's take a look at the replay. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here. Going wide like that could cost them valuable time.
I could have sworn he just cut the corner and gained time.
And the team had such high hopes today.
Huh? Looked like a corner cut to me, pal. Tyres are really struggling with Seb. Meanwhile, Lance purple in sector 2. He's had no traffic.
We have low battery.
So this could be big. I'm running very thin now with Seb on everything. I think P10's locked in. Alonso's dropping back a bit. But let's see. Lance Stroll, fastest lap of the race. We're still in the fight, but tyres are really struggling, man.
So back off.
Okay, copy. I'm struggling with tyres.
I know, Seb, I know, mate.
Yeah, confirm.
Just got to try.
Working what we're doing.
It is. We're on for a point, which is a hell of a lot for us. I'm going to give up on this chase. I'm going to try and save a bit. And we're going to battle Alonso for a point. We're going to drop back. Oh, Alonso just got by. Oh, damn. That's not good. Got caught napping. I was running the conservative modes and they were a bit too slow.
Alpine just advanced. Let's take a closer look. Now watch this. Here's Alonso's car.
Oh, just got no pace now. Our tyres have really gone off the cliff. This is frustrating. Yeah, we've lost it. I don't believe it. Last lap of the race, but we've got nothing in the tank.
So this is last lap. You can push the tyres.
Yeah, this is game over. I'm in deploy mode, but I don't think it's going to happen. Out of juice. Verstappen's going to win. Oh no, what a disaster. We've let a point slip. I've not managed this race well. I think one of my worst, if not my worst race of the season so far.
Max Verstappen over the finish line And today's winner.
I just want to see the tyres before we cross the line. Yeah, we lost the tyres, man. Pushed too hard. I haven't got the patience to run it on light or conserve sometimes. So final results, Verstappen dominates at Monaco, and I mean absolutely destroys the opposition. Leclerc second, Perez third, Russell fourth, Bottas fifth, Hamilton P6 a lap down, and then Ocon, Gasly, Magnussen and Alonso. We just missed out on the point, which is really frustrating. I'm happy in a way because we gained 6 places around Monaco, and I think we gained all of them mostly on track. The strategy was going well when we managed to come out ahead of Snowden and Alonso after the pit stops, but in hindsight, I wish I just extended that hard tie a little bit longer. Having said that, Lance does get the fastest lap. He finished down in P17, unlucky of course with the safety car. So yeah, definitely my worst race I think in terms of how I've managed it, the tyres and stuff, and the safety car period, but still positives to take in terms of performance. You know, both cars, fast lap from Lance and then 6 places gained from Seb. Those are good positives to take away. Elsewhere though, here is the Drivers' Championship, so we're still P11, no real big change for us, to be honest with you. That race doesn't really change much, and Lance still down in P18. Constructors, we're still P7, 2 points out of McLaren, so no dramas on that front. Experience, we do gain a little bit, not as much as I hoped for, but we do get a development point with Seb, which is good. We'll go spend that now. You can see both drivers pretty similar in that one. And also, in terms of the guarantees, outgoing, we lost a bit of money because we, of course, bottled qualifying, but we gained a bit of money from the race guarantees from getting the top 15 with 1 car, so that's a positive. Now then, here we go. Wind tunnel has been upgraded. Of course, we've got facility upgrades coming soon, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, we've got a development point to spend on both drivers actually, so we'll go ahead and spend that now and waste no time. So we will go ahead and improve Seb's cornering, as that is his weakness. His also rating has gone up to 83, which we love to see. What about Lance? We'll go for braking, as of course we know that's an issue for him. So we'll go ahead and get that sorted. But yeah, with that done, points spent. We're ready for the next race, which is in 2 weeks' time. So that's going to give us an opportunity to work on upgrades. So here's the wind tunnel update. You can see the upkeep is a lot more expensive. It's a big change from just level 1 to level 2. Brand new pristine condition. But you can see it's going to massively improve the way upgrades work. And you know, it's going to double our performance across the board. So that is big. Post-race review from Monaco and also the staff. As you can see, their confidence has increased, so they're sounding pretty happy. As you can see, the confidence is actually higher right now, so it's gone up, and they're happy with race performance. So we're making progress. Objectives and finances, of course, we need to work on, but we should get an update on that soon. But yeah, overall, we're looking pretty decent. Now we're going to make one final upgrade before we maybe turn our focus to next season, and that is the rear wing. It's the only part of the car that we haven't upgraded yet. We've gone, you know, through front wing upgrades, we've got chassis arriving and side pods arriving for the next race. Underfloor suspensions on the 3rd one now, so we're going to go ahead and show the rear wing a little bit of love. So we're going to go to car part development, new project, and we're going to go into design, and we're going to go for a rear wing, and we're going to invest the rest of our testing time into this before the reset occurs. So let's, as you can see already, big improvements all around. A lot of drag reduction, which is good. Low speed improves quite a bit, to be fair. Medium, high speed, all of this is really positive. But let's go for the design focus. Now, balance is always the kind of, you know, boring option. Low speed performance is going to be an interesting one for next year, but the high speed is not going to be a hit for next season as much. It's only 10%, so we're going to go for high speed performance, and hopefully that will help us out. We'll go for 6 engineers. We have, that's the maximum you can do, I think, so that's what we have available. And we will normal or rush it. I think we'll rush it. Why not? Let's speed this up and get these upgrades on. So there we go. We'll let those parts arrive, and then once all the upgrades arrive, we'll have a look at research in the next episode, I think. You can see we've got minor changes for the front wing next season, underfloor and suspension, so we'll have to invest in those soon. For now though, let's move ahead and get the upgrades on. Important email. So board confidence check-in. I'm pleased to inform you that the board now have high confidence in your leadership as team principal. Our performance as a team has been exemplary, and we encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Well done and great work. I would expect a very positive result in your board review in 2 months. May financial report is complete, and let's have a look, see what the financial report is. So season balance, you can see here, it's okay. No big inconsistencies. We're looking pretty healthy all round. Now we have the monthly car development report. You can see a lot of red values, things we need to improve, but we have come a long way from the start of the season. If you look, we got 13th on acceleration, 15th now on quite a lot of these values, but third tier seems to be an issue, along with cooling, so we'll have a look at that down the line with other upgrades. Low stock on suspension, which isn't a problem because we've got, of course, the upgrades arriving now, so let's keep moving ahead. Now Seb has low morale, which is going to make it difficult for us to keep them when their contract runs out. Underperforming racers not getting along with their race engineer are the most common causes of low morale in drivers. Interesting, does Seb not get on with Chris Cronin, his engineer? Now to be fair, Seb has a good affinity with Chris Cronin. I was considering maybe swapping the drivers, with their engineers, but it's not an engineer issue. Seb's happy with Chris, so yeah, we're not going to go for any hasty decisions. Everything looks good on these development fronts. Again, both drivers are happy with their respective engineers. Here we have the race simulator, which has been upgraded and refurbished just before the Baku race. Now we've got confirmation here of the email along with the update. You can see we're going to gain a bit in the weekly experience. Level 3 now. Upkeep goes up a little bit, not by much. Condition stays at 100%. And here's the race prep, which we'll look at in a minute. For now though, what we're going to do is bring the upgrades onto the car. So chassis, we're going to go for the new one. As you can see, we've got the C2. We're going to install that on car 1 and car number 2. And we've got the spares arriving soon. As you can see, we've got 2 in development, so they will be on the car soon. And then suspension, we're going to... Is it suspension? No, it's not. It's side pod, sorry. There we go. We're going to install the new ones on both cars. And again, we've got 2 spares on the way coming soon. So cars are going to be drastically improved. Show rank on grid, you can see we're now 11th in acceleration, 15th in top speed, which will be interesting at Baku, to be fair. 16th high speed, we're slowly making progress. 15th in low speed as well, not too shabby. But yeah, we'll see how that goes in the next event. For now though, we're ready for Baku. We've got, as you can see, projects on the way, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now to be fair, I was tempted to maybe renew Seb's contract to help him out, but he's not interested in entering contract talks at this time. So probably because it's Friday and it's pre-practice at Baku today. But we'll have a look at this after the next race, especially if Seb performs well at Baku. We'll consider renewing his contract. So yeah, that's it guys. We're ready for Baku, the next race, round number 8. If you enjoyed today's episode, leave a like and subscribe. I do think that might be the reason why, because Seb's been performing well, but he's not getting a contract for next year. So we're going to make sure to correct that hopefully after the next race. As always, a massive shout out to the members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and that's about from me.